Hello, hello, and welcome back for another week of the Summer Book Club 2018. This week we're on Chapter 8, The Family Feud. And if you've read this chapter, then you know one of my most embarrassing facts about myself, one of my greatest weaknesses, that I am a thrower, a recovering thrower. I'm getting better. But man, there's something about being in the confines of family, surrounded by people who know you the best and know how to push your buttons the best. They can make tempers flare and make communication very difficult in a conflict. So I'm recovering. I've not thrown anything in a very longish while. But there's so much to unpack in this chapter. I can't get to all of it in this short video segment. So I encourage you, if you haven't already read Chapter 8, please grab a copy of the book, grab your copy, read Chapter 8, and find out those tips for a good, clean fight for your family. It's so important to learn how to do this well, because whether it's your first family, the family that you grow up in, or your second family, if God blesses you with a spouse and or children someday, conflict is bound to happen. It's just going to happen. Anytime you have hot-blooded people under the same roof, there's going to be misunderstandings. There's going to be times when you're frustrated or just not your best and tempers flare. And we need these tools and to do communication well in those moments so that we can have a greater understanding of each other because of conflict, to be heard and to hear the other person, not just to fight until we get our way. So I'd encourage you to dig in. One of the hardest things for me when it comes to family conflict is keeping my own emotions under control. Hands down, the hardest tip for me, myself, to apply. And in our family, we often talk about the verse in Proverbs that says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but harsh words make tempers flare." It's so true. And if there's only one thing that you take away from this short video segment today, I hope it's that if you can learn to control your own emotions in the heat of conflict, it will go so much better. It's much easier to practice the other 5 tips for a good, clean fight when you can keep your own emotions under control. I know it's hard to do, but we're striving for imperfect progress to do a little bit better each time. Just like Jesus, who lived in a sinful family. Remember that Jesus grew up in a family that was not perfect like he was. And I'm confident that there were probably conflicts that took place. But if he's our example in all things, then we can do these conflicts without losing our temper, without cutting each other down and doing permanent damage to our family members. So I would love to hear in the comment section today how you're doing with this. So let's look at application question number 2 together in the comment section. Have you ever had a fight with a family member that actually accomplished something? Do you think it's possible to do that? I would love to hear your personal examples of whether you've been able to resolve conflict in your family well without losing your temper, without like a lot of collateral damage. If you have some tips to share with the rest of us, me included, I would love to hear those, because I'm still in a family and I'm still learning how to put these 6 tips for a good, clean fight into practice. So I will see you next week for our next chapter, where we're going to be discussing what it's like to have a good relationship with your daddy and what to do if you don't have one. I'll see you then.